As I write this text, almost 5,400 days have passed since the premiere of 500 Days of Summer in autumn 2009, and this film continues to occupy me like hardly any other rom-com. Rom-com as it's officially declared. In contrast, the term anti-rom-com is often used, which director Mark Webb denies.
I think we should stop seeing each other.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Start from the beginning and tell us what happened.
He justifies this by saying that he himself is not an anti-rom-com. Rather, 500 Days of Summer is a story about relationships. A story about two people. A story about expectations and different perspectives on life. And so, the narrator rightly warns us at the beginning that this is not a love story as we know it or expect it.
This is a story of boy meets girl, but you should know up front, this is not a love story.
Is 500 Days of Summer at least a subversion of classic love stories? It is a question that resonates. The film borrows from the great narratives of love, but deconstructs them in a non-linear narrative structure and with unconventional decisions for the genre.
Love. What does that even mean?
The references to classic romantic films are numerous, but they often serve to subvert the audience expectations. Unlike traditional love stories that follow a linear path, this one dances between hope and despair, as if alternating between the blooming summer and the dreary autumn. This subversion is embodied by the characters Tom and Summer. Tom, a hopeless romantic who believes in true love, and Summer, who is more pragmatic
You like me?
and maybe even more realistic.
Just as friends?
Both represent two opposing views on relationships. The film's non-linear narrative, jumping back and forth between different days, reflects the unpredictability and complexity of Tom and Summer's relationship. This technique optimizes the way memories work in our minds, chaotic and not always chronological. This roller coaster ride of moods and emotions also manifests itself visually and acoustically. The story is not only told through plot and dialogue, but above all through the extraordinary visual aesthetics, camera work, and the soundtrack. Cinematography is key to conveying the subtle emotional journey of the characters.
Do you ever even have a boyfriend?
Of course.
What happened? Why didn't they work out?
What always happens? Life.
Director Mark Webb relies on a mixture of intimate close-ups and sweeping panoramic shots to show the emotional distance and closeness between Tom and Summer. The soft, dreamy images in the early days of their relationship contrast with the cooler, distant shots that show their increasing separation. The first moment Tom falls for Summer is when he finds out that she has the same taste in music as him.
I said I love the Smiths. You've good taste in music.
the Smith?
Yeah.
This moment, the music, becomes the catalyst for the entire story and an iconic moment in the film. The music not only becomes a means of expression for the characters, but also a reflection of their inner states. At the same time, the soundtrack guides the audience through the emotional highs and lows of the relationship.
Don't go. You're still my best friend.
The cinematography, soundtrack, and seasonal aesthetic work together to create a deeper emotional resonance, expressing the nuances of Tom and Summer's relationship in a way that goes beyond what words alone could convey. This sensuality in visual and acoustic design constructs and deconstructs in the same breath the mismatch between expectations and reality.
Tom walked to her apartment, intoxicated by the promise of the evening. He believed that this time his expectations would align with reality.
From the first meeting between Tom and Summer to the bitter end, the story is viewed through one lens, separated by one line. Tom, as the protagonist, presents the romantic relationship as a kind of idealized fantasy, shaped by his own projections and expectations. Summer, on the other hand, is presented as an enigmatic character who does not conform to the ideas Tom has created. This gap is further reinforced by the structured depiction of the days in the film. The happy days appear to be particularly intense and meaningful, while the unhappy days are shown in a sober, sometimes sobering reality. The key moment in the film, where the screen is split to reveal Tom's expectations and the actual reality, becomes the starting point for the reflection of everything that has happened, but will also happen.
We're trying to be faithful, but we're cheat. I'm the hero of the story, I don't need to be saved. I'm the hero of the story, I don't need to be saved. I'm the hero of the story, I don't need to be saved. I'm the hero of the story, I don't need to be saved. It's alright.
While Tom sees a world of harmony and happiness in his expectations, the often complicated, misunderstood, and imperfect reality of his relationship with Summer becomes visible on the right side of the screen. This confrontation forces us to rethink the previous events of the film and to recognize the discrepancy between the ideal and the actual experience. Reflection on this mismatch is the central aspect of the story and the key to understanding human relationships and how perceptions and desires influence perceptions of reality.
Hey, Tom. I always loved this place ever since you brought me.
I guess I should say congratulations.
Only if you mean it.
In that case.
500 Days of Summer offers no concluding answers, only questions that linger long after the film has ended. It is definitely more than just a rom-com. It breaks with traditional storytelling by embracing the cyclical nature of the seasons.
Sorry, I just left, can I, 1 second.
He was pretty sure.
Hey.
You again?
Summer and Autumn suggest that each ending is only the prelude of a new beginning.
If, you want to get some coffee or something?
I'm sorry, I'm sort of supposed to meet someone after this.
Okay.
In this light, autumn becomes a metaphor for renewal, a season that teaches us to let go and look forward with quiet anticipation.
What's that?
Why not?
Okay, well then I'll just, I'll wait for you.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. My name's Tom.
Nice to meet you. I'm Autumn.
We learn to appreciate autumn because we only know it exists when summer is over.
I said I love the Smiths.
The film's legacy lies in its ambiguity, in the spaces between its lines, where viewers can find their own meanings and reflect on their own seasons of change.